Hey, it's Kellen, and today on Diversified Game, you guys get your phones ready, get your thoughts blazing. I have Tim Branyan, who owns CROWDFUNDING. He's the co-founder of CROWDFUNDING. He also has a few other businesses, and we're going to talk about those. But with someone who has so many things going on, we're going to focus on the CROWDFUNDING to show you guys your alternative, your American-based alternative to your crowdfunding. Some of you are familiar with Patreon. This is the American alternative to Patreon. And they have a few other things that Patreon does not have. And, you know, it's always good to shop at home first, as you've seen. So, Tim, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome, man. Thank you for that warm introduction.
Yes. And let's get into it. CROWDFUNDING. I know folks out there, they hate to hear the long story. Tell them why CROWDFUNDING is so special and unique.
Yeah, just a short version.
Yep.
So traditional social media, they monetize on your data. That's no secret anymore, right? They're getting paid billions of dollars through ads. Our platform is a paradigm shift to that. We only make money when creators are making money. So we provide features and functionalities for creators to turn their followers into passive income. So that's probably pretty much the shortest version that I could describe without getting too nerdy or techy. We give content creators the control. Our mission statement is empower your brand. So yeah, that's a short version.
That's a short version. And when people hear this is, I mean, there's other places that do this. And of course, the big giants, once they saw other people, you know, like a Patreon doing this, YouTube and Facebook had to get into it because no one else can eat. But how, you know, what makes it different than, you know, YouTube or Facebook memberships, premium memberships?
So I'll give some bullet points to that question. It's a great question. It's a common question. One of those is that we're U.S. based. You mentioned that. I'm a veteran, so it's vet owned. One of the biggest reasons is that we can typically pay more than our competitors because of a couple of those reasons. We pay more, we pay faster. We have Stripe Connect as our back end. It's a phenomenal partner. For those of you that don't know what Stripe is, it's kind of like PayPal. It's a big fish in the merchant processing space. Fantastic company for software services. If any of your viewers are in the software game, we'd like to work with Stripe. Additionally, we're 100% invite only. So unlike other platforms that are like Walmart, we are more like a country club or a yacht club. So we vet everyone that comes onto the platform to ensure one of our other bullet points is that no one's doing porn. We're not good with that. And it's no personal reasons. It's mainly business reasons. We want to be a home for folks that would love to have a platform like OnlyFans or love to have a platform like Patreon, but they don't want to necessarily associate their brand with that industry, the adult industry. So what we found is that we're becoming this home for those people: musicians, comedians, artists, singers, dancers, even models that do like behind the scenes. I always say this incorrectly: boudoir, photography and artistic stuff. We're home for that. So those are probably some of the core differences. I guess additionally, we listen to our creators with the intent to build. So we've got a feature request board where all of our members that have ideas or have suggestions or ways that they want to take the platform or features that they want to have, they request those. And then our entire community, they either upvote or downvote some of those features. And that literally guides us with the direction that we take the platform. So we pride ourselves in genuinely being a platform built by creators for creators. So it's been really cool, man, just to see some of the ideas and then bring those to life. We do now have some additional functionalities that other platforms don't have. So I guess that would be another advantage and kind of a distinguishing bullet point as well, just additional features.
Okay, and talk about those additional features, because folks are always, you know, especially for those who like to geek out and say, hey, what else can I do? Can I send Bitcoin? You know, I can already hear
right.
Some.
No, it's a great question. So there's about 5 different ways that creators can get paid through the platform. And that's what people are interested in, right? If they're going to have a fan site, if they're going to have a place where they're hosting their content, that they can, offer a membership or offer behind the scenes or offer an exclusive experience to their subscribers or fans. They want to know what some of those features are to churn profit. One is your traditional subscription. So you can charge a subscription price. All of your content is locked until someone decides to purchase access and become what we call a true fan to your platform, your channel. You can set that from $1 all the way up to $100 a month. And that gives people access to your core content that you post. Additionally, you can have upsells. We call that premium posts or premium content, and that would even be locked for your subscribers. So if I was, joining your channel right now, and it was, $5 a month, $10 a month, and then you posted something additional, like a behind-the-scenes interview with a cool nerd named Tim, and you wanted to charge me, an additional $10 to unlock that video, I would, of course, be able to do that and have access to consume that content after I purchase. So there's subscription, there's premium content, there's donations, tips, gifts. Our creators have the option to decide what the title is of that donation. There are pay-per-view messaging. We have a mass pay-per-view feature. So if someone wants to make money in the DMs, they can have. Sorry about that. There we go. Somebody wants to make. It's all good. Somebody wants to make money in the DMs, they can have a conversation and literally sell service or sell content right to their subscribers or fans inside. Additionally, if they want to send a mass message, let's assume that somebody's got 1,000 or 10,000 followers, subscribers, they can send out a mass pay-per-view message with a price tag on it and have 100% deliverability. Which is, it's terrific. People get a notification. Your list is now, receiving that message. And, there is again, one of the reasons that we're different than other social platforms is we're not limiting our creators' reach. We don't have algorithms in place to create a pay-to-play environment where we're selling ads. We're wanting you, the creator, to receive or obtain all the reach that you possibly can. So subscriptions, premium content, tips, donations, or gifts, you can title it what you want, pay-per-view messaging, and then we have a really awesome referral program where we pay, again, being invite only, we know the people that are coming onto the platform. So we incentivize this sharing of the platform. We know that good people know good people, right? So we paid referrals 5% gross volume on all sales generated by the folks that they invite and help get started with True Fans. So the only way that you can join the platform is either A, you're invited by one of the owners, myself, my partner Logan, somebody on the team, or someone that's already been granted access to True Fans. And it is a creator that can refer you in and get you a registration link. The other way, if you go to our website, which truefans.com, there is an application there, but a better means would be to go through you to get that link. That way they don't have to wait. We get thousands of applications per week, and a lot of them, don't get seen for a long time. Just being honest, we like the people telling people portion of it.
I noticed.
But yeah, I think that's all the different ways of functionality.
I noticed when you send invites, when you're inside the interface, you guys also limit how many people, someone like myself could send. I think it was 5. And so does that ever, after you send your 5, does it, rotate the next month, or how does that work?
The reason why each new creator gets 5 invitations to send out. And the reason that we did it that way is we wanted creators to tactically think about who I know. Or who do they know? Who do they rub shoulders with? Who's in their network, maybe in their Instagram feed? Who they shot photos with? Who could be a great fit for this platform? So when they send out an invitation, there's a 7-day expiration on an invitation. If somebody accepts it, they get that invitation token or invite back. And then additionally, if that expires after 7 days, then that token refreshes as well. It's not a link. And again, we didn't want somebody to just blast it out there and anybody and everybody can click that and become a creator and register an account. the back end reason for that as well is logistics, right? We want to have an exceptional customer support. We've identified that if we have an exceptional, Ritz-Carlton style customer support, then that gives us an advantage. Additionally, the techie nerd logistics is if we let anybody and everybody create an account, that's a profile picture, that's a bio, that's uploads, all this data that's stored in AWS, that costs us money. It costs money to store data, to send, receive it. And it's more ideal for us to work with folks that are serious about creating an online business and serious about, providing value for their folks. And so it just makes a little bit more sense for us to control that sort of invitation and growth. And also, I'm a fan of growing at pace. I think it's more of a marathon versus just a straight up sprint. And I would like to grow at the pace we're growing now. We're really excited about the direction that we're growing.
That's awesome. You almost set off an alarm in my office when you said AWS. My Synology server said, AWS, get off the crap.
No, it's good stuff, man. It's scalable.
Yeah. Yes, but it's like YouTube. It always needs to be fed, and it's money. AWS. So yeah, don't worry, server. Relax. But but so the DM or the pay per play conversations, now that's something that none of those other platforms have. Talk about that, and is there any limitations to that? Is it just can it be DMs? Can it be text? Can it be calls? Can it be video chat through the TrueFans?
Yep. So right now we're engineering an app. We've got an app that's launching. The ETA is next week. And then additionally, we've been working hard. I say we, the geniuses that I work with, I get out of the way. They've been working hard on a live integration for a really nice experience, both for fans and creators, to go live, share their music, share their talent, share their themselves, right? Themselves, their connectivity with their true fans and subscribers, and additionally be able to comment, be able to like, be able to receive donations, gifts, and tips through that logic. So we're really excited about those features. As far as DMs, it's a full chat messenger. You can send and receive messages, just like Facebook, just like Instagram. You send a voice message, you can send video through it. The additional feature that makes it really powerful for a creator is the fact that you can send and receive, or you can receive income through DMs. So, if you're having a conversation with a guy that wants to buy your course, but he's a little bit on the fence, you can voice message him, let him know, hey, this is what you're going to get, this is what it entails. Maybe give him a little bit more courage to purchase, and then send him that course through DM or a link or access after he or she pays. So it's a really pretty incredible little dynamic.
Oh yeah, that's awesome, and can't wait to see the app in its in full force.
Yeah.
And you have multiple businesses, and a lot of times when talking with people, and they have multiple businesses and businesses that are making money. You hear, I went to Harvard, and my father gave me, $100,000 to start. And I mean, you have a very, humble background, and you're not in LA or New York or San Francisco. He's in Kokomo, Indiana, y'all. Might be able to see him like at the store if you were there. But can you talk about, the background from going like military and then to having all these businesses? Like, where did that spark, and what sparked that?
Great question. So I grew up middle, low class, great family. We didn't want for anything. I had things. My options were really small. You mentioned, I'm from Kokomo, Indiana, and I love my city, love my town. I'm very involved in it now. It's great. I could say a lot about my city, my hometown, but the options as far as work and creating income and new, new horizons weren't very big. It's a blue collar town. So for me, I was a knucklehead, man, growing up. The best thing that I ever did was enlist into the Air Force. And that took me all over the world, man. Good places, bad places. I grew up quick. was given a lot of responsibility fast, and I wouldn't change it. I had a lot to lose at that point. It gave me a sense of purpose and pride. Met some of my lifelong friends, and with a buddy now I've been around the world with several times, and playing a position in the mission. And I'm so grateful for the military for the option to kind of change my course and direction. So it all started. I mean, it started young for me as far as entrepreneurialism, capitalism. I was, my first hustle in high school was soft modding regular Xboxes and selling them to kids at school, man. I had kids coming to my house with their Xbox. I would take a 24-hour period of time to soft mod it, put the Sega Genesis on it, put the games on it. Definitely not. I think it's been long enough I could say all this. No, it wasn't, and I was underage, so that's good. But yeah, man, I was making thousands of dollars from my little high school community while being at school and in the tech game. I mean, it just kind of expounded from there. In the military, I got to work on cool systems to keep people and things safe, different security. I'm trying to think what all I can say. Security stuff to keep people and things safe. And I was always fascinated by how that worked and why it worked. From there, I did contracting, so I was a hired gun and worked overseas for several years. And I guess the spark of it all, to answer that question, was the deep desire for true freedom. I never really owned my time. I was always on someone else's, which was, it was cool. It helped me get to where I wanted to go. But it was this realization that if I was going to control my time, if I was genuinely going to be free, I had to create residual passive income. I had to own something, and I had to provide value in exchange for dollars to get there. And for me, I thought about everything, man. I thought about having a barber shop. I thought about owning billboards. I thought about owning, storage sheds. I thought about opening up a bar and just like, when I started primitively thinking about that thing, even a hot dog stand, I was like, okay, I got to have inventory. I got to have, a sign. I got to maybe hire an employee, and all these things, they kind of stacked up, and I would shove them away or the idea would become less appetizing because of all the work in exchange for life I had to put in to do that. But then technology, right? I was introduced to the app space and technology space, and it just made sense, man. Very low overhead, a lot of upfront work to build the foundation correctly and make it scalable. But limitless problems can be solved with technology, and it became this online storefront, if you will. Fell in love with it, dude. That just kind of spiraled and started doing e-commerce. I owned a jewelry store online, did the whole drop shipping thing, was fascinated that you could create transactions there. I did a network marketing company with a health and wellness product. So I had my little website and stuff when I was young, and it just grew from there. So we built my first software tool we ever built was an Instagram automation tool. There's a lesson in this too. Instagram automation tool did really well. But then we actually got shut down. We got shut down by Facebook. They sent us a cease and desist, the scariest moment of my life. They said, you can't do this. And we quickly, stopped doing this and just diverted into a different direction. We asked ourselves, who do we want to be? What do we want to do? And quickly changed directions. And I own several software tools now. One's called Reach Suite. One's called RepuStream. And then the one that we're talking about today is Fanz, which is a really exciting platform.
So are you a coder yourself, or do you see the vision and go grab the software engineers and all that?
Yeah, so I am definitely not a coder. I know enough to communicate well. I'm more of a product and project engineer. So I communicate, I draw. And this is very primitive too. This is pencil and paper. This is, pen and paper. This is an app that I use. It's free. It's called Pencil. I've just got this bootstrap, scrappy mentality, whereas most people may go out and they'll seek millions of dollars through VC, or they think that they have to have all these things in place. It's like, no, dude, you need to just get started. You need to prove the concept. You need to go out and make some transactions and focus on the solution that you're solving. or the solution to the problem. And so we aren't VC. I've over the years of failing, I've found a tremendous team that we work with. There's about 18 senior engineers that I work with that help us build projects. And I'm the middleman between what the creators are asking for, some of their user experience and their feedback, as well as some of our sales guys, what their thoughts are. It's really important to listen. So I'm really good at listening and passing on information effectively to then put it into a development environment where, it takes its form and actually gets built. It's challenging for, I don't want to say a normal person, it's challenging for a user to share their experience effectively to get an actual solution or a change in a tech environment, I think. And I think I fill that gap nicely. But my biggest skill, man, is getting out of the way. I found really great people. I see some of the issues, put my finger on the pulse of that, and then I give it to the guys that are the true, giants. I'm on their shoulders, man. These guys that are actually coding and doing the genius stuff.
And that is great. I'm trying to, for a listener out there, we always want to inspire on the show and say, you can do it. You don't have
for sure.
to, I live here in Seattle, and, people say, hey, you used to work at Microsoft? No, they wouldn't hire me. I have an opinion. Same thing with Amazon and all them, But
tell me about the listeners real quick, man. If you don't mind me asking, tell me about who's
the listeners.
listening to me, right?
It's mainly folks who are interested in business, and we have people like yourself who come on who have a different background, diversified game, who don't just come from the Harvards or the whatnot. So they listen for the interview because they'll say, wow, I never even thought of that, or I didn't know who was behind that.
Let me give a tip. I'd love to give, so if you're interested in the tech game, you want to build an app, you've got an idea, you've got something that you think could be revolutionary. Great. A lot, and this is what I'm going to say. A lot of people do. There's no shortage of ideas. It's just the next phase that happens after that most people, their ideas stay at the shoreline. Don't be that person, right? Concentrate on it, think through it, but bring it into existence. And I'm going to give you some steps to do that. The first thing is get out a piece of paper and pencil. Try to find a pencil. They're hard to find nowadays, but find a pencil and draw it. What I do is I go out and do reconnaissance on what exists, and I look at different features, and I'm looking at what just for some inspiration, right? And different UI and UX and what logins look like and what different houses, if you will, look like. From there, the next phase is to and this is a hack that I learned. A lot of folks, they'll go straight to Upwork, they'll go to guru.com, they'll go to Fiverr, and in hopes of casting this net out to people that can help you. The challenge with that is there's a sea of people that will raise their hand and say, I'm your guy. And the truth is they're not. They're the guy that, in a lot of cases just want the money. They're not going to, help you come up with a proper blueprint or what we call a spec sheet. So there's clear defined goals and objectives for your deliverables and things. So I guess a recommendation I would have, if you're wanting to get into the app space, talk to somebody that has a live, profitable app or software and ask that person, him or her, if you can work with their team or be introduced to their team. And that's a better route than going to the marketplace, I think. And then, posting this request for people, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's, wherever platform you're at. I think a better play is talk to somebody that's doing it, that's launched something, and say, hey, who do you work with, or who do you recommend I work with? Kind of reverse engineer that. And I would, your odds improve there. But the most important piece is that you have a clear verbal, written, and visual to this house that you want to build. Really do think about it like a house. You need to know the foundation. You need to know the plumbing. You need to know, what the chimney is going to look like, where's it going to be, how big are your window, where your window's going to be at, what is this house going to feel like when somebody walks in, what happens when they leave, are you going to have a garage, is it going to be 2-door garage, is it a 1-door, like, all of these things need to be intricately thought through and imagined and enthusiastically imagined upon, and that's and written out, and that's when your idea starts to take shape. You're going to become inspired when you write it. You're going to become even more enthusiastic. It's going to put wind in your sails. And let me say this too: if you are an entrepreneur listening to this, you can do it. You can get away from anybody that's telling you that you can't achieve something. They are an obstacle. It's part of the game. They're an obstacle that you have to hurdle as you're becoming who you should become, I think. Even if it's family, because family will deter you, and you don't want to feel, and you don't want to disappoint anybody, or you don't want to, you don't be afraid of opinions. They're a part of this. Like, as you start building your thing, be prepared for it, I think, rather. I don't want to ramble too long, man.
No, that's awesome. And I'm glad you said that, because we talk about that. Family won't be your biggest supporters, nor will they be your first customers 9 out of 10 times. So
they didn't sign up to be, man. They signed up to be your family. They signed up to give you grief. They signed up to, they're not your customers. So yeah.
And so, I mean, and I love how you laid it down, because everything to me starts with, pencil, pen, and paper. Even if you don't know how it's going to work, you have the vision. So you write the vision down and make it plain. Is, I didn't write that. I think it came out of the scriptures. But
yeah.
That's the first part that you do. Because, folks always have ideas, but then they go through, am I an imposter? Is it a good idea? And it's the minority that actually push through and say, I'm going to at least try. If I try.
Ask how. Always be aggressively curious, and always ask how. Not the opposite. Just always ask how, and be aggressively curious and determined. Persistence cuts through rock, man. It's so true. Like, if you're a persistent person, even if you don't have a lot of skill, you're just persistent. Like, you can achieve a lot with just bull-like persistence.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how I'm at now, man.
After you get to a certain point, how do you then, for the person out there saying, okay, I have one business, if I have two, everyone's going to assume I'm Bill Gates, which, folks get into their head because they've made their first whatever amount of money. How do you then present that to the world where you're still humble and human, and you're also not everyone's public ATM?
So, I'm still growing, man. I'm not some billionaire. I don't know all the different levels yet. I think for me, if you're so full of gratitude, there's no room for fear. There's no room for, look at me syndrome, or here I am syndrome. I think gratitude and humbleness is key too, man. I mean, I still live in my same hometown. I don't know. I don't think that I've struggled with that the same as maybe others might. Mm-hmm. And maybe that was just part of the military stuff, upbringing. I don't know. But I think if you're so full of gratitude, then there's no room to get caught up in the here I am, syndrome. That's probably the best way. Just constantly just being grateful for everything. Having even one customer, having 2 customers, having 10,000. I've been humbled, man. So like, I think that's the other key too. Like, so like my growth happened when I was humbled, when I got gut checked. I was telling my buddy earlier, the first time I was, it's kind of a funny story. The first time we ever launched our product, we were seeing a lot of success. I was annoyed. Like, I got to the point my phone didn't work because we were having so many like sales notifications. Like, my phone, I couldn't operate my phone. I was getting frustrated, and I stopped to think about that. Like, I was just frustrated at cha-chings, like notifications. And like, it took me, going offline and having a failure to realize, each of those cha-chings there was a human being, somebody swiping their card or somebody putting in their information. It took me getting belly to belly with local business owners and realizing, where they're at in their business and some of the struggles they're facing and what they're trying to do to really humble me to realize that those aren't just numbers. These are people. These are people that are relying on our technology, or relying on us to be our best and support them. And so to even like, have a feeling of being annoyed, that's so wrong, like as a business owner. But it took me a while, I had to get gut checked, man. This game will gut check you quickly and correct things too.
Yeah. And I love that you went back to your hometown. Being from the Bay Area, that's not an option, because to be humbled, I mean, California is full of facades and just, fake cheers, and everyone's broke.
There's a lot of keeping up with the Joneses, man. It's strange to me. I'm from the Midwest, so I go out there and it's like the first thing people ask, how much money do you make? What do you do? Like, it's just this instant measuring. And I'm like, yo, dude, does that matter? Like, I'm so friendly, bro. Like, I find things that I love about people, and immediately, like, I'm looking to how we can be friends. How do we flourish? How do we create a win-win? And everybody, it doesn't matter where you're from, you can be a janitor. My dad told me this young, and hopefully, this will add some value to folks too. From every man I ever meet, or every man I ever meet is in some way my superior, in which I can learn from him. That's so valuable. That's so valuable, dude. So like, I remember that. And whether it's a homeless person or it's, somebody that owns 2,000 restaurants, whatever, it's crushing it. There's value there, to filter that individual and build a connection. And that's a strong, a strong piece of advice my dad gave me early on. It's like, dang, it just resonated with me. I think I was like 10 years old, it just resonated with me. So yeah, and I don't know who, somebody said that. I don't know who the quote's from.
Your dad, the Dalai Lama of Kokomo, Indiana. We're giving him credit, right? And everyone else, that's awesome. I always tell people the homeless can have my phone number and the presidents can have my phone number. I have a system on my phone, so there's a way to filter who I need to talk to. But I mean, I talk to, from the homeless to whomever. I haven't talked to any presidents yet, maybe some future presidents, but I get it.
Yeah.
With all the success, and this is a question we ask every guest, what is your community give back that you're doing or that you want to do in the future for the community?
Yeah. So I want to work with more nonprofits. For me, like, from a service and fulfillment standpoint, like, I get jacked thinking about working with the Boy Scouts of America. I've had a few conversations with some leaders there. And, imagine this for a second, right? You got a scout troop 1, 2, 3 in Kokomo, Indiana, and they, start uploading their content about camping trips and whatnot. But their contributors, they're true fans that are supporting. They're on a monthly subscription or a donation. And then additionally, they can donate into this troop. And not only that, but be a part of their exclusive internal community about, and see what those funds are actually doing for that community group. So, take that vision and apply it to ocean conservation, apply it to wildlife, apply it to, there's so many different missions out there. I can't possibly name them all, from environmental to human rights to, you name it. And a platform like this can really become something that's powerful. A lot of these nonprofits, they're relying on traditional methods, like mail-in contributions, where they're literally receiving, snail mail with checks and such. And to automate that or put it on a subscription with a dunning system, and to, kind of update their methods, they're going to create more income and kind of move them into this digital age, I think. So it's just, that's an exciting thought and feeling. A lot of my personal stuff, that's exclusive. That's deviated away from the business. We're involved in the church, but yeah, as far as the platform, we're still new. We're the new guys on the scene, to be honest. We just launched roughly 100 days ago, something of that sort. We're in 32 different countries now. We're growing exponentially, like 127% a month, which is great. It's a blessing. we're meeting new people. Like this opportunity, I met you recently too. So like the relationships that we're building are second to none. So I think in the future, being able to really support the nonprofits and organizations that lock arms with us in a strategic way, not just with functionality, but additionally with, the revenues that they are keeping and obtaining, could be really fun. And again, with tech, we've got this option to really be generous.
Awesome. And I love all of that. Because I love the Boy Scouts, the traditional, what I grew up in, Boy Scouts, just throwing out there, Boy Scouts of America. You get what I'm saying? Tim doesn't have
to dude,
say
I'm from the Midwest, man. I don't know what's going on. Pardon my ignorance if I irritate somebody. We don't get news, or we don't understand a lot of the new world stuff until a few months later. So I'll probably catch up later.
I'll tell you off air. I don't want you to have the hashtag that in 30 years they may give me. So, it's all good. But I don't want to give the people a game overload. They've gotten a lot. All Tim's links for his companies will be in the description box. People, reach out to them there. If you have, follow up and you want to see how the platforms work. Tim, I thank you for coming on.
No, I really appreciate it, man. It's humbled and grateful to be on here. Happy to support. Hopefully I've added a little bit of value. That was at least my goal, is to add a little bit of value or provide something for your viewers and listeners. And like you said, if you need to connect, or if you've got any questions, or if I can help you, that's where my heart's at. So appreciate it.
Thank you. We'll talk. Peace, y'all. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff.
All right, bye.